Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press Podcast, a college basketball experience. And Sam, guess what we have? We're doing again today, and it's always a good one. What are we doing today, Sam?
Doing a conference preview show. Exciting
Shocker.
Conference. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I know that seems to be the norm day to day. LT, you are the hardest working guy, and
No.
The
media dumbest.
I'm sticking to that, man. You're lining up these coaches at 30 plus conferences this year, and we're popping out a new one almost every day here now. So good work on your part. And we got two guests today that will be competing for the Northeast Conference championship this year. There's no doubt about it. Fairleigh Dickinson, Coach Jack Castleberry. Welcome to the Full Court Podcast, and congratulations on the new child as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Do you guys still do meetings in your showers?
No,
I'm
I'm sorry.
going to ask that. I'm going to ask that in a second because, but then we also have Coach Pat Sellers from Central Connecticut. Welcome to the show, Coach Sellers.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
With Sam, we talk about conference realignment, all this stuff. This conference actually has a little bit of realignment, which is crazy for a mid-major. They get rid of Merrimack and Sacred Heart, and they bring in Chicago State and Mercyhurst, which I live in Akron, and Mercyhurst is in Erie, and Sam and I know a little bit about Chicago State. That's in Illinois. Man, you guys are not living toward the Northeastern Conference name. What's going on with that?
Well, what league is, man? The Atlantic Coast Conference isn't the Atlantic Coast Conference anymore either. So we're just
just ready to say that, Jack. You got teams in California in the ACC, so.
Yeah. No, we joke about it all the time. Sometimes we'll even pop out like new names for conferences that they should be called and stuff like that. But it's just wild what's happening in the NCAA right now. And, I'm sure your jobs have changed quite a bit, over, your careers, and especially the last 2 or 3 years with all the adjustments being made. And I mean, there's really no off season for you guys. There's a couple dead periods here and there, but talk a little bit about like what kind of the summer and kind of leading into kind of the first month of fall, like what have you guys been up to, looking at rosters, how's your teams look? Coach Castleberry, let's start with you.
I mean, honestly, it's not really any different than in any other year. You're just trying to, I guess the summers probably play even more critical role now than they did in the past, just because you do have so many new pieces coming into your program. In years past, and back when I was playing and when Pat was playing, like you didn't have anything in summer at all. You would do summer school and you would work out on your own, but there weren't any coaches involved. There's probably times where people say, hey, the summer's a little bit too much, but it's pretty critical now for the way that the rosters have to be, strung together and be on the same page in a pretty short period of time. So, I spend a lot of time focusing on player development and trying to get at least the basics of what we really intend to hammer on in the fall over the summer and get into the first part of this school year and finally getting ready to go on a regular or now going on a regular basis day in and day out here. And feel like we've got the foundation set, but a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Coach Sellers, how about you? I mean, you guys, 13-3 in conference last year, tied for first place, coming off a really strong year, like what was that looking like for you?
Yeah, sort of like what Jack said. The new guys, we try to incorporate in our summer. We have 5 weeks of summer. So what we did was we would do an hour practice, like 4 days a week. And for us, fortunately, we have 4 seniors that have been here 4 years, so which is kind of rare now. And
that's
so
called
those guys
culture,
really,
Sam. That's called culture. Culture.
It's unbelievable. These 4 guys are like coaches now. So they were able to integrate and help our newcomers come in. So like Jack said, the 5 weeks are really important to kind of establish what we do on offense and defense and so forth. And then we get some individual instruction and to get better skill development. So a lot of that in the summer. And now when they get back in the fall, they kind of know what we're doing and know our terminology. So that was good. And now we start, like you said, day-to-day practice, and we're kind of hitting the ground running with day-to-day practice now.
Yeah. How does that go with having a family or having friends and vacation stuff like that, being like saying, hey, yeah, we're going to have to I'm not going to be home as much, or I'm not going on that golf trip?
It is, well, I don't know. Speaking for, like, my son lives in Arizona. I got a 5-year-old son. 4-year-old son lives in Arizona. So he comes out and stays with me for the summer. So he was out here 7 weeks. So I got him in the gym with me, running around doing that stuff. But like, as far as like family vacations and family reunions and stuff like that, the way college basketball is, it's hard, man. It's really hard. I always say, when Coach Roy Williams retired, he said, Coach, if you had to do anything different, what would you have done? He just spent more time with my family. He's 100% right. So in day-to-day stuff, I try to make it a point for myself, for the guys on the staff, the guys I work with, to, hey, man, spend time with your family. Like, one of our coaches has 2 sons that are in high school. They got AAU stuff going on, and he's coming in and asking me, hey, I need to go. Hey, don't worry, let's go do it. Go do it. If you got do your stuff that you got to do basketball-wise, but do your family. So I'm big on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach Castleberry is not saying anything.
Well, I'm kind of curious, like, how Coach Castleberry is kind of like putting his roster together. I mean, he's got a really interesting kind of makeup. You got Terrence Brown and Joel back, and then Cameron Tweedy, who's can be the best player on the court against anybody at any given time. But then you're putting a couple guys in from Jefferson from D2, who combined over 25 points per game last year, and then Dylan Jones, who could be one of the best 3-point shooters in the league this year. So, like, what were you kind of looking for putting those pieces together?
Yeah, well, the first thing that we knew, and Pat knows this from playing against us, like, we did not shoot the ball well at all. So we had to change that. I think we shot 33% from 3 last year, and that's with Ansley Amador, who's playing in Kentucky right now, making over 93s and hitting 3 threes a game. So that kind of leaves you, the rest of the roster wasn't exactly the best shot making roster in the world. They did other things well, but we had to improve upon our shot making. And so going out and getting Tyree and getting Dylan Jones, and then having our other guys like Joel Emmanuel and Terrence Brown increase their 3-point shooting percentages, at least what we've seen in the gym so far. We feel much better about our ability to knock down a shot when it's open, which is obviously hopefully going to open everything up for us, in the paint. But that was the big thing, was just finding guys that can make shots without giving up too much on the defensive end, and hopefully still being able to improve on our defensive efficiency, which we did from the previous year to last year. But also, get guys that were just, hey, like, let's get the best shot for our team. One of those things, I didn't do a very good job managing that last year. I made a million rookie mistakes, and that was one of them. I think we have a group of guys now that, have enough shot making ability, but also understand, like, the collective good to hopefully have a good run this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam, we should start a college head coach's college basketball therapy show.
I'd call in daily.
Yeah. I'll be there too.
We'll have guys on, and we'll be like, yeah, we just need like 20 or 30 minutes of your time, talk about what you guys are up to. And like 2 hours later, they're like, oh, I need to get that off my chest. Yeah. And it was like,
we have one in particular. I asked him to be, and great guy, I'm not going to say who's, I asked him to be part of this another conference preview show, mid-major conference preview show like yourselves. And he says, and the other coach is on there too, and they're both talkers. And they're going back and forth on email. It's like, how much time do you think we need? Probably a couple hours each. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, you guys have such a hard job now, and
that's good, man. You know what? You guys have a name for it. Coach on the couch. Put a coach on the couch.
I love it.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God. Uh-oh. We might have something here. Hosted by Patrick Sellers. So let me ask you something, Coach Sellers, since Sam just asked Coach Castleberry a question. How excited were you when Merrimack and Sacred Heart left the conference?
Man, Merrimack, that zone, I'm glad that we don't have to sit out the zone. That zone, Coach Gallo does a great job with his defense, and they have a really good system. They're a hard team to play against offensively and defensively. So obviously, you're thinking about the league, you want the league to be whole and tough with good competition every night in and night out. But honestly, it doesn't hurt not to see that zone. And then Sacred Heart, Coach Latina is a great friend of mine. We worked together here in Central Connecticut back in the days. And, he's a really good offensive. They're a really good offensive team. They'll load on offense. You have to really game plan on defense to play those guys. So we're losing two really good programs that were big in our conference, that made our conference stronger. But we've added two good programs. So, to see those two guys go, we wish them all the best. And now we just want to, give us a chance to get back and get our conference to the place it should be.
Yeah, it's weird when you guys are going to be – it's weird this first year when you guys are going to be playing at, like, Chicago State, like going all the way across town. I mean, Mercyhurst is not ridiculous. I mean, at least it's close enough to some of these other conference schools. But I think it's going to be weird to see, like, Fairleigh Dickinson against Chicago State in a conference matchup. But, that's just how college basketball is, right? And college football is too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's just wild, man. I coached at DePaul for 2 years, so we played Chicago State a couple of times. So I know Chicago State know the guys over there. So, I mean, obviously, going to Chicago is a good time for, when I lived in the summertime. But you're going out there in February to play Chicago State, that's going to be a long trip. And it's probably, in our league, we thrive on day-of-game trips or at least one-night trips. And now that's probably going to be a two-nighter when you go out to Chicago on a Thursday. So,
yeah,
we got to get prepared for that, too.
All right, you led me to another question. Clark's, McGee's, or Kelly's?
Clark's.
Yeah.
Clark's Diner. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the first place I ever took my wife on a date. That's what she says.
Oh, really?
After you took her to Bar Chicago, probably. And, did all that. So, yeah. Coach Castleberry, I mean, any surprises you're looking like you're kind of seeing under the radar in the conference? I mean, Coach Copeland's done a great job at Wagner. I mean,
yeah, hopefully he has guys healthy this year, for once.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I look at all these rosters. I mean, the whole conference was kind of riddled with injury last year. I mean, at Central Connecticut, you had Jay Rogers out, and hopefully these guys are all healthy now. And it makes the conference better as a whole. But like Coach Castleberry, what are you kind of seeing with the conference, especially some of the other programs that could be competing for the championship, like Wagner, Lemoyne, LIU?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously there was a massive shift over there at LIU with them bringing Coach Gillian on there and some of the returns they had and the transfers they brought in. They're going to bring in some talented guys, there's no doubt. So, I think across the board, we don't really know what to expect. I read the Blue Ribbon Report just like anybody else did. And I'm sitting there going, well, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Where is he from? Right. I mean, I think I was saying before we jumped on the air here or on the podcast here that, the kid at Lemoyne last year, I'm blanking on his name, MAC transfer, he didn't have any numbers really in the MAC. And then he was a hell of a player here in our league and somebody that you had to deal with. Pat might remember his name. I don't.
Jones, maybe?
No. The heck, the 6'7" skinny kid that shot it. Maybe what it was. But anyways, he was really good. So I don't think in our league you really know what to expect until they get here. I mean, obviously, what Donald dealt with last year injury-wise and the success he was able to have at the end there was absolutely incredible. I mean, what Pat's done at Central Connecticut, I mean, that program had struggled for a while, and in year 3, he's got them winning 20 games. Like there's teams that are on the come up around here, I don't know necessarily what 1 year is going to look like compared to the next. You certainly hope you return as many guys as we can. Pat's got a lot of guys coming back. I feel confident. I mean, we lost 3 key players, but the vast majority of our roster is back. We've only had like 3 or 4 guys transfer out each of the last 2 years. That's pretty low in the grand scheme of things of college basketball. So you hope that having that consistency and, like Pat was talking about having 4 guys on the floor that are kind of like coaches being fourth-year seniors. You just hope that adds up enough and you bring in the right pieces to help make a run here at the end.
Yeah. It's just so odd that you can transfer in the same conference to competing. I mean, that was just such a faux pas years ago. I mean, you'd also have to sit out a year or two, depending on where you're moving to. But then the same conference, and you get a guy like RJ Green, right? Where, he's transferring from LIU now to Wagner, could be, considered preseason player of the year conference pick, among with several other guys. But it's like, is that something that like we're seeing more and more of that in mid majors, depending on where they feel like they can kind of fit in with a roster? And like, is that something you're seeing a lot of, Coach Sellers?
Yeah, I mean, once they dropped the rule with no sit out, that rule now where guys can go to 4 different schools in 4 years if they want. So it kind of just opened up everything. And when you're in conference, it doesn't matter if you're in the NEC, the Big East, or wherever. The coaches, you do so much scouting. So you watch, LIU, or you watch Wagner, you watch those guys play at the U all the time. So you say, oh, man, I really like this kid. This kid knows how to play. So if they put their name in the portal, it's fair game. So you can, you take a transfer from within conference. That's just the nature of the beast. Like last year, probably our best player, Alan Jean Rose, I coached him at Fairfield. And then he put his name in the portal. His first 2 years of college, I coached him. So I know him so well. And the only thing is, I called up the coach at Fairfield, Jay Young at the time, and I said, Jay, AJ put his name in the portal. Just wanted to get your blessing. And he was like, hey, man, he's in the portal. Fine, So he went with it. But, within conference, but you're going against, the guys, like Jack and I, we are on the phone or group call with our colleagues in the conference all the time. So now you're going to have to go call those guys and say, hey, your guy put his name in the portal. Is it okay we get the blessing to go get him? And it's just so
Has
wild,
anyone ever said no?
I doubt anybody would say no. But it's so wild. That's the nature of college basketball. So, like some people get so down about it. And then I'm a guy with the glass half full all the time. I'm always like the guys on our staff have to calm me down because I get too happy. So I'm always like, it is what it is. Just enjoy it. If you try to get down and get all upset about it, you're not going to appreciate the beauty of basketball. So you might as well enjoy
it. There is a player, and I'm blanking on his name. He has transferred 4 times, and he's played, I think it's Missouri Valley, and he's played in the Missouri Valley for like 3 or 4 different teams. And I'm trying to think, I don't know who it was. I think it was the Missouri Valley. I'm like,
handing out resumes like in the handshake line,
Crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah, but this is like, what is the long-term solution? Because, coaches can't keep at this pace forever. It's crazy, like trying to recruit. It's not junior college basketball, which we've had coaches that have come from the JUCO level, whether played or coached, and they love it. They think it's great. It's like a puzzle. They can put it together every year. But trying to build a team stability culture, I don't know how you can do it every 9 months.
I'll say that, I don't know what the end solution is to this. I don't know if Pat has a solution to it either, but I do think eventually you end up in some type of contractual situation when it's all said and done, when this whole house settlement thing gets figured out. Obviously, that's going to have different impacts in different levels of college basketball. The shame of it is, you do Pat's relationship with the guys who have been there that many years, right? Like that's a deep relationship that those guys were able to call on him the rest of his life, or the rest of their lives. You worry about losing some of that stuff, but the reality of it is, like, we can't be naive. Like, college basketball at Division I level is a business. And so I think, one of the things we always talk about with our guys is like, hey, everybody likes to say family, right? And then not act like a family. We'll say, hey, it's a family business. Like, there are bottom lines we have to meet here. But you can run a family business and really care deeply about the people that you work with, and so that's kind of how we've tried to approach it. And we hopefully still have an impact in a world where it is, very helter-skelter from one year to the next.
Yeah, and it's funny, people will make the comment like, well, if coaches can do it, players can't. But coaches aren't switching jobs every year. Maybe as an assistant, but a head coach. But the best advice I can give you is get rid of the handshake line, because we're hearing deals being made in the handshake line.
Yeah,
I think, a lot of what's probably happened is, a lot of these kids grew up playing AAU together or whatever. They're recruiting each other,
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's like, I think Coach Sellers has the answer, because he's already said he's got so many seniors who have been with him for 4 years. Whatever that is, I don't know. But what are a guy like Jordan Jones, right, who I'm sure had options, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are those conversations to be like, hey, I care about you. I love you. Like, we're here together. Like, let's figure out what the best thing for you is. And I hope it's here. Like, what are those conversations like?
Honestly, like when the portal started a couple of years ago, basically, this is what's been happening. So the season's over. Guys, we have exit meetings like right away. I tell the guys, hey, I love you, want you back, want you to think about what you're going to do, get back to me. We're going to start workouts in another week.
Mm-hmm.
And when guys say they're going to stay, great, we start workouts. When guys say they're going to leave, I'm kind of different from other coaches because other coaches say, I'm going to leave, pack your stuff up, get out of the locker room, blah, 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 I can't work out. I'm the opposite. I'll say, hey, you can continue to work out, you can keep yourself in the locker room, you can go in the weight room, and you can come and be a part of our workouts. The only thing I ask is you can put your name in the portal, but you have to be on time for everything that we do. And if you do that, you can be a part of us. And then I'm going to help you go to wherever you're going to go. And part of my reason it is I'm being selfish for our team because we need bodies to have good workouts in the spring. So the last 2 springs, we've had really good workouts. We've had 10 to 12 guys on workouts, so we can put a lot of stuff in and do our stuff on our workouts. And because we're using guys that are in the portal, then those guys leave, and I say, all right, thanks, blah, blah, blah. And I'll check in with them. We go to sync, we go to graduation. I take a picture with the guy. I took a picture with our 3 seniors last year, and one of them, Kellen Amos, was going to Rice, but took a picture, family thing, the whole 9 yards. So I said, hey, I'm going to support you. Good luck with everything. I talked to the coach. I talked to Robin there at Rice, told him all about him or whatever. So I've kind of approached it a different way, and it works for me because it just goes with my personality. But, other guys, and I don't blame other guys for getting pissed off a guy leaves, whatever, and they say, all right, get your stuff, get out of the locker room, you can't work out. So I see it both ways. This way works for me, and it's kind of helped, and guys have been staying around a little bit. But Jordan, to answer your question about Jordan, Jordan's such a good kid, and his family, really good people, and I just got really close with his dad. And Jordan made a decision on his own because he had a lot of people reaching out to him, trying to get him in the portal. And he just made a decision, this is where I want to be. Don't want to start all over again. And so we were fortunate enough to get him back.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone said, another coach said to us, your best recruiting is kids that are already on campus. So whether they're coming or leaving, if they're going to, because listen, everybody talks and everybody knows. I'm just waiting for a coach to say, like, man, this guy was looking here. I'm like, I can't stand that coach. Don't go there, go here. But I mean, no one's going to admit to that one. Sam, let's set him up here, boss.
Yeah, coaches, we do a little thing called the shot clock. LT is going to fire off 5 or 6 questions to you guys. First thing that comes to mind, just let it rip. Sometimes might be a 1-word answer. Other ones might lead to a short story. But we'll give you guys the platform here. LT, let's get it.
Yep. 1 word to describe the NEC Basketball Conference.
Fun.
Exciting.
Fun and exciting. The Love Boat. Okay. Biggest misconception regarding NEC basketball.
I don't think people in the country know how talented the coaches are in this league. We got some really good coaches, day in and day out, defensive schemes, often like FBU, these guys, if you watch those guys play, they're fun to watch. They can really put the ball in the hoop. Jack was saying about their 3-point shooting, but they could score the basketball. And like this league in general, they're fun to watch, but really, really talented coaches that can put together a team in a short period of time to really do some special things.
Okay.
The short, not 1 word, but I would say, probably better than you think. I mean, I think it gets a tough, I hear people kind of knock it sometimes. The reality is, like, we go into those first 4 and we're winning games in that first 4 pretty regularly. And obviously, what we were able to do when Tobin was here as the head coach, like, it's a good league, man. It's better than what people think it is.
Right.
Yeah. And I think the problem is, if you look at Coach Jones from Stetson said this, and he's been on both sides, at Florida as an assistant and obviously Stetson as a head coach, also at Marshall too, is you look at your non-conference schedule and you guys are playing a lot of bye games, a lot of maybe stronger pro conferences. And, you see, for instance, like you were 15-17 last year, Coach Castleberry, but you're 9-7 conference. I mean, it's not indicative of the quality of NEC basketball or any mid-major conference. I mean, let's be honest. So, the purists understand it. Toughest arena to play in conference. Toughest arena or gym to play in conference.
Wagner.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, Wagner.
Why?
So right up on top. Yeah. Loud and
the band.
Box. Yeah, it's loud. They're right there.
Yeah, you better be careful. You might have 4 conference home games at Wagner next year. Most animated coach on the sideline.
Well, he just left.
You can name yourself too if you need to. It's all good.
Oh man, I was gonna say Coach Copeland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the current roster of what teams in our league right now. Yeah, probably Coach Copeland too. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. We had him on the podcast this summer, and he's good dude, but you can tell he gets after it and everything in life. So
everything. Yeah, he gets after it.
All right. Who averaged the most? Who had the high? Who scored the most on that? How do I put this, Sam? Points per game. Which team in conference had the highest points per game?
I think it was us.
Yeah, I was going to say FDU.
Just because of the tempo.
You said you were horrible 3-point shooters, but you averaged just under 76 points per game.
They can put the ball in the hoop, man. These guys, I'm telling you, these guys are unbelievable to watch.
Yeah. Do you know who had the lowest points per game as a conference team?
Wagner.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you only have 5 or 6 players playing. 63.5. Central Connecticut, you guys were third with 72.7. Really easy question right here. Favorite conference official?
Love all of them.
That's the right answer.
Kiss ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like them all.
That's a veteran response. I'll put it that way.
Response. We had a couple coaches hesitate, and he's like, none of them. It's like, what?
They got to earn it every year.
All right. So, Sam, hopefully I say this because I keep butchering this. What team in your conference had the most personal fouls called against them? Actually called, not
on
missed.
On the stat sheet after the game.
On the stat sheet after the game.
Most personal fouls.
That's a team conference.
Wagner.
No. Coach Castleberry.
Most personal fouls. Merrimack.
Long Island. Rod Strickland. 19.2. Who had the least called? Yeah, exactly. That's why you like all the officials. 13.6. Fairleigh Dickinson, 17.8. You came in second.
Fairleigh Dickinson only had 13.6?
No. Central Connecticut had 13.
Central Connecticut. Okay, got it. That's got to be – that's probably top.
When I was here as an assistant
in the country.
We were – I think it was top 10 maybe. When I was an assistant here, we were number 1 in the country at least amount of fouls. My second year here maybe, and we were 25-6 one year and 27-5 one year, something like that. So yeah, we didn't foul. We played, showed your hands, play without fouling.
Yeah. All right, last question. So they're doing a Hollywood movie about the NEC coaches. They did a movie about the group of you guys. What would the movie be called?
Ooh. We got to get Jack with that question there. That's a good question, Jack.
I don't know.
I know one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
I was gonna say Dazed and Confused, but yeah.
So those are 2 good answers. I like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, you won nothing. You got nothing. And you probably wonder what the hell you're doing on here. But Sam, take it away, boss.
No, it's all good. It's all good, coaches. We really appreciate you guys coming on the preview show here for the Northeast Conference. We're going to kind of turn it over to each of you for a minute. Anything you guys want to share to the Knight faithful or the Blue Devil faithful? Fans, boosters, alumni, students. Anything you guys are each looking forward to with your own programs for the season? Coach Sellers, let's start with you.
For our fans, I'm just looking forward to getting everybody back. We were fortunate last year. We had a really good year last year. We led the conference in attendance too. So we were looking to get our fans back out here again for us to support us. We think we have a good group of guys and working hard. If we get a chance, if we can rebound and defend at a high level like we did last year, then we'll give ourselves a chance in conference.
Yeah, and listen, I'm excited too. We got a group of guys that I think are fun to watch. The way that we play, we look very cohesive right now. It's still really early, but you got a group of guys that they're all good dudes, and they have fun playing together. And I think when you play up tempo like we have, and if you do that, together, it's a really fun style to watch. And we've been really lucky that we've had a great community here in the Hackensack and Teaneck area, Bergen County area. That's been awesome for us, and just looking forward to being back in front of them.
Yeah. You guys are going to stick on with us for 1 second as we upload, but we really appreciate it. We're really excited to follow you guys this year in your careers and what have you in the NEC and beyond. And Sam, it was another great energetic episode, and we will be back. Who knows when we will, because we got more conference previews to go on the Full Court Press podcast, a college basketball experience.